Traditional brainstorming doesn't work. Management might think it does because people look busy and at the end of the day there might be a lot of ideas left on the table. But as a process, I believe it saps your soul. Hi, I'm Sarah, the Ideas Girl. I help online entrepreneurs and boutique businesses create winning ideas on demand, and I believe one powerful idea can change your world, last a lifetime, or even create a legacy. I also believe traditional brainstorming saps your soul. Organisations like brainstorming because it's a collective activity and they can get people working together, in theory making people buy into a process or change. It's that old adage, if they can get you to think it's your idea or if you've helped come up with a solution, you're more likely to feel invested in something new. But in reality, it can take serious effort to look demotivated, disengaged, or not on board in front of your colleagues and bosses. Here's what happens behind the scenes in an average corporate brainstorming session. If your skills don't match the demands of the activity, you'll feel anxious. If they exceed them, you'll feel bored. This is exactly why, in blue sky thinking sessions, half the participants can feel disengaged, frustrated, and hate every minute, whilst the other half can feel anxious, uncomfortable, and hate every minute. But everyone carries on regardless and toes the line. You might have to spend hours listening to the loudest speakers in your group telling you how wonderful their ideas are. It's likely you'll conform. It's likely your brain will take the path of least resistance and will stay in its functional fixedness, chugging along the same tracks it usually takes to think of things rather than being fired up to take an unusual neural pathway to somewhere else. You might switch off from the process altogether. After all, those in the group with the loudest voices have it covered, don't they? The bystander effect will be out in full force. Participants will sit back, confident the usual suspects will take action. Lee Thompson of the Kellogg School found that 60 to 75% of all the talking in brainstorming exercises is normally done by just a few people. It's all too easy to get swept along with everyone else in a group, particularly if you're the shy, retiring type. But what if you actually happen to be one of the loud talkers? There will be times when you get carried along by your own steam. Afterwards, you'll reflect and realise opportunities were missed. If you're facilitating a brainstorming session, you may later come to regret that, although it seemed productive at the time. In reality, you've ended up producing more of the same. It takes a special kind of facilitator to appreciate the difference between flip charts and whiteboards packed by a volume of ideas and perhaps fewer but seriously rich ideas validated on two important grounds. One, that you feel heart, mind, body and soul are right for you or your company, and two, that you can confidently take forward to validate in your chosen marketplace. It's stating the obvious, but to get groundbreaking ideas, you need to think completely differently. You need to be in a good place. The pressure of being on the spot in a team meeting doesn't always lend itself to this. Research by D. Golleman and P. Kaufman in 1992 found creativity in children is killed by surveillance, feeling constantly watched while you're working, evaluation, feeling judged on your accomplishments, competition, win or lose situations rather than being allowed to progress at your own rate, over-control, being told what to do, pressure, being aware of others' expectations, and time, our cultural perceptions and associations with time. Sounds an awful lot like a corporate brainstorming session, doesn't it? There's no surprise in appreciating the factors which kill creativity in children apply to adults too. But what are the alternatives? Athletes and performers experience what they call the white moment, which is being in a state when everything flows. It clicks, everything feels harmonious. You lose track of time or it appears to slow down or go super fast. In flow, your brain expands less energy. It's effective. Relevant parts of your brain are active, others, not needed, are quiet. This can explain why people often report feeling all zen. This is no-mindedness rather than no consciousness. Your mind is free, clear. You're just doing it. You're intuitive at this point. This isn't the same as doing tasks on autopilot, which can be numb repetition. Everyone has their own activity where they feel zen-like. For some, it's going for a run. For others, it's cleaning, driving in the dark, or taking a shower. Brady Wilson says to feel brilliant, you need a trifecta of high-performance hormones flooding your brain: dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. Obviously, when you're sleep-deprived, preoccupied with worries, or feeling run down, you're less likely to generate showstopper ideas. Christopher Berglund's book, The Athlete's Way, outlines his theory that it's the vagus nerve which keeps cortisol low and acetylcholine which calms the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what gives us grace under pressure. Berglund thinks creating superfluidity probably lies in engaging all four brain hemispheres along with the vagus nerve. Firing new ideas is all about connectivity. In our brains and in our external environment, when we work with others to find new meaning to something. Any exercise which essentially involves individuals generating their own ideas and only then sharing them to enhance and develop them with others works better. This is a helpful aspect of brainwriting, coined by UT Arlington professor Paul Paulus, where you're writing your ideas first and talking second. You can write ideas on post-it notes, for example, and then vote for the best ideas before more structured discussions take place in a meeting. Only after some space to generate your ideas independently would the group be facilitated through a number of further exercises to explore the ideas. Anna Craft's possibility thinking might be incorporated, and Brady Wilson's 3 questions could be asked. What's possible here? What matters the most to me in this situation? And how might we? Ideally, to explore the task at hand, you'd look for as many connections surrounding the ideas as possible. You could also include reverse brainstorming, where you look for ideas to prevent your problem happening in the first place, and imaginary brainstorming, adding imaginary elements of imaginary problems so you combine real and imaginary problems to explore what's relevant. It's this aspect of finding different connections and exploring different approaches which will yield different results. Practical exercises spark this process, and asking the right questions can help develop ideas, uncovering different layers within them. As Tony Robbins says, quality questions create a quality life. Successful people ask better questions, and as a result, they get better answers. In short, there is a better way. If you'd like to find out more about how asking the right questions can help you take your powerful idea and unleash it on the world, my new program, Just One Idea Today, could be for you. The link is in the comments. If you've liked this video, please let me know by subscribing, liking it, and adding a comment below. I'd love to know what you think.